Hello, vivacious viewers, and welcome to Healthy Living. In recent decades, osteoporosis, a condition in which the bones become less dense and break more easily, has become an epidemic, especially in developed countries, and now affects more than 75 million people in Europe, Japan, and the USA. Globally, statistics reflect that 1 in 3 women over age 50 will experience an osteoporotic fracture. In the US alone, healthcare expenses related to the treatment of the disease cost approximately $17 billion in 2005. So how can we fortify our bones and help prevent this condition? To find the answers, we'll consult today with experts from around the world, including David Roman, a Spanish author of You Will Not Drink Milk, and Vegan Children Happy and Healthy, and president of the Spanish Vegetarian Union. Shira Lane, American director, producer, and writer for the documentary Got the Facts on Milk, and Dr. Jérôme Bernard Palais, French physician and co-founder of the Association of Health Professionals for a Responsible Diet, or APSARES. We'll also hear from Dr. Eric Llewellyn, a British naturopath and a member of the UK's Royal Society of Health. Dr. T. Colin Campbell, an American nutritional biochemist and professor emeritus at Cornell University, USA, and co-author of the bestseller The China Study. Gina Shaw, a British health and nutrition consultant, and Dr. Joel Fuhrman, an acclaimed American physician, nutrition expert, and author. Increased intake of calcium is associated with building strong bones, and some believe that milk is a good source of this mineral. But what are the facts?
El hecho de consumo elevado de leche no resulta protector para los huesos. Las fuentes de calcio animales, en este caso la leche, aparte de los demás efectos perjudiciales que, como estaba comentando, tiene, no ayuda a fortalecer los huesos. Se han hecho estudios y a mí el que más me parece demostrar esto es uno que se hizo en la Universidad de Harvard, en el que se siguió a unas más de 70.000 mujeres durante 12 años y se observó que las mujeres que más leche consumían eran las que más fracturas tenían de huesos.
When you consume animal proteins, your blood becomes acidic. And for your body to buffer it and to bring it back down to its level, it has to take calcium from somewhere. And so it takes it usually from the bones. And we have a chart that the countries that consume the most milk are the countries that have the most osteoporosis and the most hip fractures. They have the weakest bones. It's actually opposite of what you would think. Yes, there is calcium in milk, but no, is it doing your body good? No.
Pour être honnête, il est vrai que le lien contient du calcium. Par contre, le fait de consommer du lait ne prévient pas l'ostéoporose. Et ceci s'explique de manière très simple. Le lait est riche en protéines et la consommation de protéines a tendance à provoquer une fuite urinaire de calcium. Et lorsqu'on analyse objectivement les faits, les Américains et les Suédois font partie des plus gros consommateurs de lait dans le monde, et les Américains et les Suédois sont aussi ceux qui ont les taux de fractures ostéoporotiques les plus élevés au monde. Et c'est une illustration qui montre que le lait n'est pas du tout efficace pour prévenir l'ostéoporose.
No, the recent studies in America on dairy products in bone tissue density had to be stopped for legal reasons because women were losing more bone tissue than with the placebo. In other words, their bones were getting weaker the more calcium and dairy foods they had. Just a matter of fact.
High consumption of dairy products such as milk, cheese, ice cream, butter, and yogurt can also lead to other serious conditions, such as heart disease and prostate and breast cancer. The Iowa Women's Health Study found that women who consumed more than 1 glass of milk a day had a 73% greater chance of ovarian cancer than those who drank less than 1 glass. Dr. T. Colin Campbell explains how consuming dairy products and meat has other far-reaching consequences.
And if we start consuming protein in excess of what we need, cholesterol levels in our blood starts to rise. Atherogenic lesions that lead to heart disease starts to increase. We get an acidity that then pulls calcium from the bones. We start growing cancers. The amount of protein we need is about 8 to 10% of total calories. Most of us, 95% of us in our society, consume somewhere in considerably in excess of that. We consume between about 11 and 25% or so.
Oh, I see.
And so we put ourselves at risk by doing that. And plant-based foods, a good plant-based diet, vegetables, fruits, grains, has just about 8 to 10% protein. I mean, nature almost made it so that it was ideal. So people who are consuming wholesome vegetables, fruits, and grains, that's, again, I emphasize the whole vegetables and fruits and grains. If they're doing that, they're going to get protein at a level of somewhere around 8 to 12%. And that's adequate.
In a healthy, plant-based diet, many foods provide large amounts of calcium, including kale, collard greens, dried figs, beans, grains, and tofu. An article in the January 2007 issue of the Journal of the American Dietetic Association stated, greens such as kale can be considered to be at least as good as milk in terms of their calcium absorbability.
Calcium is richly gotten from vegetables, from especially green leafy vegetables. There's plenty of calcium in green leafy vegetables. If you consider that the number one source of all vitamins you would really have to get from fruits, and the number one source of all minerals is vegetables, whether you're talking about calcium, whether you're talking about iodine, they're always going to come from vegetables.
If we want to have strong, healthy bones, especially as we grow older, what are some important steps we can take?
We're seeing that as people get older, they could weaken their bones and fall down and break a hip or hurt themselves, and a major cause of death even, breaking a hip, having a hip fracture. And what we have to remember here is that vitamin D deficiency is an epidemic worldwide because we're not getting enough sun. So we have to make sure that if you're not getting a sufficient amount of sun, then you should have vitamin D level checked with your blood test, or take a vitamin D supplement, because that's very important. Now, whenever you see the word osteoporosis, consider that weak bones occur because people have weak muscles. And that means if we want to have strong bones as we get older, we have to exercise. So the lack of exercise is the major cause of osteoporosis. But we're brainwashed, we're given information to think that milk protects us against osteoporosis, and taking calcium protects us against osteoporosis. And it's really more a vitamin D issue and an exercise issue, not a milk or a calcium issue. In fact, we're talking about that people who take calcium through milk and eat a lot of animal products, the acid production and the acids being secreted by the digestive tract, from all which is caused by all the high protein animal products, that high protein causes more pressure on the kidney, and the acid causes more calcium to be leached out of the bones, and we lose much more calcium in the urine from the diet high in animal protein. So we lose too much calcium if our diet is too high in animal protein. The point here is that green vegetables have enough calcium, that vitamin D is the issue, more than calcium. We need some calcium in the diet, but we need much more vitamin D, much more of those other nutrients found in green vegetables, because green vegetables and sesame seeds are also high in calcium, but they also have vitamin K and other phytochemicals that are important for your bone health. So the main messages here is that don't rely on medications for osteoporosis. Don't think calcium is enough. And don't think drinking milk is going to protect you. It's not. We have to exercise vigorously. We have to hop and jump and bend and do things to use our bones and keep our legs and our back strong. And we have to have sufficient vitamin D, right? And we have to have a diet and higher in green vegetables and nuts and seeds. And that's the formula for maximum protection against osteoporosis.
Today's market stock many highly nutritious, plant-based alternatives to cow's milk.
Afortunadamente en el mercado hoy en día tenemos una gran variedad de leches de origen vegetal, no solo de soja. Existen bebidas elaboradas a partir de avena, de arroz, de avellanas, infinidad de cosas. Y todas ellas pues tienen un sabor agradable. En muchos casos, para suplir esto, son preparados que les han añadido calcio. Tienes leche enriquecida con calcio. Aportan la misma cantidad que la leche de vaca. con lo cual, en principio, no tenemos que preocuparnos de ese tema.
Supreme Master Ching Hai frequently speaks about the enormous dangers of consuming milk, meat, and other animal foods, as in this interview with journalist Louise Kings that was published in the December 16, 2009 edition of the Irish Dog Journal.
Some people worry that a vegetarian diet does not provide enough protein or calcium, but grains, legumes, and vegetables provide all the complete proteins we need, and just the right levels. US researchers found that plant-based eaters had the lowest rates of osteoporosis. In contrast, protein and calcium intake from animal products was found to be detrimental and even contributed to osteoporosis and kidney function problems. By the way, green leafy vegetables and beans are super rich in calcium. For example, 1 cup of broccoli or 2/3 cup of tofu has as much absorbable calcium as 1 cup of cow's milk, and is free of the fat, cholesterol, and hormones that come with cow's milk.
Many thanks to Dr. Jerome Bernard Pillay, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, Dr. Joel Furman, Shira Lane, Dr. Eric Llewellyn, David Rahman, and Gina Shaw for sharing your insights on creating better health and stronger bones through avoidance of animal products. You are all to be roundly applauded for dedicating your life's work to spreading the good news about plant-based foods. Thank you for joining us today on Healthy Living here on Supreme Master Television. May all enjoy abundance, good health, and a long life in a soon coming vegan world.
Sold Out Tribute, world premiere of the musical The Real Love, BWW News Desk, Broadway World. Supreme Master TV has made an impact on the Hollywood scene. Carl Kozlowski, Pasadena Weekly. It's a phenomenal creative company put together. P.J. Auckland, K. Mozart, 1260 AM. An Oscar-winning composer has given life now to a brand new musical. David Gonzalez, KCAL Channel 9.
They said the world is small, but it ain't that small. There's plenty room for you and me and all.
We are delighted to have you here today as we celebrate this global channel based in Los Angeles and their 5 years of constructive programs for a peaceful world.
What can I do for the world? Always full of trouble, always full of sorrow. What can I do with my heart?
Supreme Master Ching Hai is making the world a kinder place. She really is.
And she's inspired the global media channel, Supreme Master Television, to send out messages of peace over the airwaves for the past 5 years.
It's not how many in a belief system. It's what becomes of them. It's not the name of a religious order. It's what we make the day.
Inside a bowl of spinach soup and lullabies melodious.
If it wasn't for sprouts in life, oh, where would I have run?
Sometimes I think she's running for Director General of the International Red Cross.
Oh no, that's not true. I just want to be helpful. These refugees have lost everything.
But no one person can save them all. It's impossible.
Maybe it's the way that she smiles.
Good heavens, where did that come from?
This belonged to my grandmother. Right before she died, she made me promise that I would always carry this around with me in my left coat pocket on the outside chance that I might find her.
Find who?
The woman I want to marry.
Moon of mine, how sweet your smile, only for me. Oh, how happy.
No one to see, no one to know our love for each other, though you care for all.
Though you care for all.
Love is the most precious thing in this physical realm, so we must protect love.
Search high and low for a little love. You've got to breathe the air of heaven. You've got to go where the wind blows. Fly with the bird, rise with the sun. Look into the heart of a flower and find God there.
Lately, God and Buddha, they seem so far away.
My country, Khan, India.
Relive the magic.
Oh, God, you know I put my faith in you. But where are you?
Todd.
What?
The precious moments.
What are the odds?
Oh, shush.
What are the odds?
The music.
One day I'll be enlightened, bring illumination to the world. Everywhere is heaven, everywhere is heaven. I believe, yeah, I believe only in love.
If we have love, all good will come our way. Love yourself, love your family, love your neighbors, love the animals, we be veg. Love the earth, we go green. Love the world, save the planet.
Hello, energetic viewers, and welcome to Healthy Living. On this week's program, we'll find out about the benefits of yoga, one of the world's most ancient health and fitness practices. We will hear the perspectives of a number of longtime practitioners, namely Rainbow Mars, a respected yogini, Yogi Dr. Malik, a world-renowned yoga expert, author of books such as Kundalini Yoga, The Fusion of Art, Science, and Spirituality, and magazine editor of Yoga Magazine and Mind, Body, Spirit Magazine. Yogi Cameron, an Ayurveda and yoga therapist and author of The Guru in You, and Rita Chauhan, a Vinyasa Flow yoga instructor. Yoga is a Sanskrit word meaning union or yoke, and its goal is to unify and balance body, mind, and spirit, not simply through exercise, but through an all-encompassing change in lifestyle. Thus, many yoga classes include lessons in diet, meditation, and spirituality. In recent years, yoga has become increasingly popular around the world.
When we started Yoga Magazine around 10 years back, and we did a research, and that time around in America only around 12 to 13 million people used to practice yoga. And the last year research was that it has gone to around 25 million now. So from 10 years, from 13 million to 25 million is a huge basically increase in yoga community.
Yoga has been practiced for thousands of years. In fact, 7,000-year-old artifacts of deities in various yoga postures have been discovered in South Asia's Indus Valley region. As Yogi Dr. Malik observes, for yoga to have withstood the tests of time, it truly must have tremendous inherent benefits.
If it survives, and now basically around 7,000 years, so it means the science is working. And the second thing is it's increasing, it's growing.
What are some of the key ways in which yoga enhances health? According to Dr. Paul Galbraith, author of Reversing Aging, Yoga is one of the most powerful tools available for staying young. Indeed, yogi Dr. Malik says some of its inverted postures, such as the headstand, are especially conducive to delaying the aging process.
Suppose if you take example of your heart, it doesn't take any holidays or any rest, even not for 5 minutes. After 30 or 40 years constant beat without any rest, that pressure goes a bit slightly low, and that's as the heart can't basically pump the blood whole on your head and your eyes. What happens, you start losing your hair, your eyesight is affected, and you can't hear things properly, your hair grow, you can get wrinkles on your face. So here yoga comes to help you, and yoga says if you do any exercise like a headstand, which is basically head down, so what happens then, basically the blood circulation goes into your body and your face and every tiny nerve, so those nerves get food and your eyesight is not going to be affected.
In recent years, research on the effects of yoga has found that the practice may help to relieve back pain, multiple sclerosis, and insomnia. Other studies show that yoga assists in reducing or overcoming cancer, heart disease, and tuberculosis, and enhances the immune system. In terms of physical fitness, it increases one's flexibility, strength, and stamina. Yoga is relaxing, fun, easy to learn, and can be practiced by people of any age, including seniors and children.
Children from 2 to 5, that's one group that I teach. And then there's another age range from 6 to 11 years old. I've been teaching them some yoga poses, and they love it. They're really enthusiastic, and children are fearless. They don't really have a lot of barriers to, they don't have a lot of embarrassment or anything like that. So they're really up for doing any yoga poses.
Yoga is also highly effective in reducing or eliminating stress-related ailments, such as migraine headaches, ulcers, and irritable bowel syndrome. In fact, according to Dr. Timothy McCall, a board-certified specialist in internal medicine and medical editor of Yoga Journal, yoga is arguably the most comprehensive approach to fighting stress ever invented.
I was going through a bit of a stressful time, and somebody recommended a class, and I went to a class, and I just found it was amazing. So it really, from that first experience, it was very life-changing for me, and ever since then I was hooked.
And the people who do basically yoga regularly for a few years, and you can see they are very calm people. They don't get angry, they won't get affected by stress, and there's no stress in their body. They're always peaceful people and the loving people.
In addition to being a powerful and effective form of exercise, yoga is also a great aid in purifying the mind and body. Many students report that, after practicing yoga for a time, they automatically drop harmful habits, such as drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes.
That's like my quota this year, like get on the mat and it will all come. You're not gonna stop smoking if you don't get on the mat. You're not gonna stop, but you get on the mat and you see what's there. You think everything is going great until you get on the mat and you start to breathe and you start to move your body and you're like, wow, what is all this stuff? It just doesn't say, why do all the work? So you get on the mat and you end up having a really clear perspective of how all the other things in your life are affecting you. What you eat, what you thought, how you are in your relationships, all of that, and then you change your life. The cigarettes fall away.
An essential component of every yoga class is teaching students to lengthen and deepen their breathing. This not only relaxes mind and body, but also improves stamina and energy. Students are encouraged to breathe deeply while flowing through or holding postures. Yogi Cameron illustrates how this is done.
First one is watch your breath. Are you breathing? Is the stomach coming out? Is the chest coming out? If the stomach doesn't move, you're only breathing here. If you're only breathing here, it's very shallow. taking a few breaths. I should be able to breathe maybe 6 times a minute, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times a minute. That's a good, most people are breathing 25 times a minute.
One of the pillars of yoga philosophy is ahimsa, which means practicing non-violence toward ourselves and others. Thus, diet plays an important part in yoga practice, and some yoga instructors encourage their students to adopt a plant-based lifestyle.
I'm vegan, mainly because I follow one of the main yogic principles by Patanjali, non-harming, ahimsa. I don't believe in eating animals. I'll encourage you to eat vegetarian just because I think it is the healthier option for yogis.
And there are other reasons why the veg diet is in harmony with yoga.
It took me probably 5-6 years to understand if I eat meat, if I eat anything which is non-veg, it makes my body a bit more stiff. So if you eat vegetables, then they make your body more flexible. And my own experience is that if you eat meat regularly, you get a lot of diseases, from one disease to arthritis to another disease. But vegetables keep you very fit and they keep you very healthy. And yogis I have seen in India, in Kashmir, and anywhere I met them, even if you are 100 years old and they are good healthy, they are basically vegetarian. So personally I advocate we should be vegetarian. So apart from that, if you basically eat vegetables, you will be always feel happy, you will always feel grounded, and you always feel nice as well.
Yoga helps practitioners make progress physically, mentally, and spiritually, which is like creating ripples in a pond, spreading out in ever-widening circles, and profoundly affecting their day-to-day lives.
It's quite hard to put into words what that experience has been like, but it's been quite, I think the best word is very liberating. It's been quite liberating for me. I tend to be quite emotionally driven, so I mean it's given me that freedom to be a bit more balanced throughout my life.
There is something about the practice when applied first that helps teach your body proper alignment and awareness so you can avoid injury. It improves your focus, your coordination, and your balance. So therefore, you do those things and then you're going to do whatever you do better. And as far as the many celebrities that I've had a privilege to spend time with, I've also heard things like, it's helped me become a better bassist, it's helped me be a better actor, like it's helped me understand my vehicle more. So when you go inside and you use the tools of Ryoka to open yourself up, then you do your job and you're going to enhance. You're going to just do whatever you do better.
Yoga makes you shine. So I have personally seen the people who practice yoga and you see their faces are glowing. It's very difficult for everybody to find a time and go to a local gym and do exercise over there, and those basically exercises can keep you fit, but they can't keep you healthy. And the yoga basically keep you healthy as well, and if you are basically healthy, then your brain works more properly, and if your brain works more properly, you are more successful in your daily life as well. So I'll just say please do yoga, even if it will make you wealthy as well, because if your mind and your cells are working properly, your body system is working properly, your immune system working properly, you will make money too. So that's the reason yoga makes you shine.
Many thanks Rainbow Mars, Yogi Cameron, Yogi Dr. Malik, Rita Chauhan, and others who share their wisdom and knowledge of yoga with the world. Through your caring efforts, you bring much health, joy, and peace into the lives of your students, and thus help elevate the communities you serve. Finally, we sincerely appreciate your acting as role models of compassionate living.
This is the real love, your love.
Coming soon.